Live in the vault today. It is, I believe, June 24th and summer day. Hanging out in the vault. Got my good buddy here, Mr. Walter Morgan. Say hello, Walt.
What's up?
So he's kind of writing down your stuff and feeding them to me as we talk about what's going on in the world of metal, in the world of horror, in the world that we live in today. So I know that a lot of you saw on Blabbermouth that, and this is a big thing for everyone, that Exodus will be getting back in the studio. You saw that too, right,
Yeah,
Walt? In September, that Exodus. Gary has said he's. Didn't you say you saw songs too? You
six
Walter knows
songs
more
are
than me.
6 songs are done,
6 songs are
and a
done.
million riffs. Quote
And a million
unquote.
riffs, of course. See, I want you guys to know that I'm hearing it like you guys are, and I know it. Actually, I know a little more, but not too much more. I know when this phase of Exodus goes on, the best way to do it is I don't even call him. I just let him go. I know he's in very deep writing mode right now, so I know what you guys are. We are going up north, I guess, and isolating ourselves with, like he said, guns, beers, and what else, and riffs. Is that what it is?
Guitars,
Gu-
beers, and
guitars,
guns.
guitars, beers, and guns, and these are quotes, okay, that I'm getting. So that's great news for everybody who's been very patient with us, knowing that the main songwriter of this band has been very busy with another band, and it made it hard with touring schedules for both bands for us to actually get time to write a record, a quality record, a record that Exodus is worthy of, not one that you just want to, oh, we just need a record out. Well, Exodus is never, and Gary's never going to do anything like that. So I'm just going to tell you, I did have a conversation with Tom Hunting the other day, and he has heard the five. He said five. You're saying six,
Yeah,
6 songs,
that's what
and
Gary
I
said.
hear it's very crushingly heavy, like we would expect. So I'm excited as you guys are to
He
see
said it
this.
was. You're gonna hear some different things that you've never heard in Exodus
Well, you
before.
know what? I'm going to turn it over to Walt because Walt, tell us, you had written it down. You'd actually
Uh,
wrote it
I
down.
transcribed it. I
What,
listened to
what,
it
what you
twice.
listen? What and tell me what forum did you hear that on?
It was on their Exodus. Well, it was his Instagram live that he went on Marshall Amps, and it was his first time he ever went live. But he went under the Marshall Amps thing, so he talked a
Uh-huh.
lot about gear he uses and what he uses. But I
Right.
didn't get all that. I just got the good questions on what his favorite bands and
You mean the fan questions? The one
right,
that
But it was very interesting. If anybody gets a chance to watch it, it's on the Exodus board, and I transcribed all the good stuff that if you're a musician, you should listen to it and want to hear about everything. But yeah, so I heard a lot about the new album, and it's going to be
I guess I
crushing.
need to tune in and find out that. Of course, it's going to be crushing. I mean, I'm sorry to. Didn't, I think
Right.
his craft has really been really honed in now. I mean, between playing, obviously with Exodus for so many years and getting, the opportunity to play in Slayer on the level that they play. And I think his musicianship, his writing, and his, now other influences, I think it's going to be really exciting to see what happens with the new Exodus. So I'm here, and Walt's writing down some questions. So we want to get to a few of them. Who's did you write down who they're
Yeah.
coming from?
Yes, I
So
did.
okay.
I'm ready. Hey, raining on your parade was the first question, and he asked, "Are you into craft beers and do you drink anymore?"
I don't drink anymore. Although when I go on the road with Exodus, because I'm not driving the bus, I do find nights where I'm drinking, having drinks, but it's like vodka. I'm not really drinking beer. Although I do like when we're in Belgium, I like the taste of like the Trappist beers that the monks, and I do like some of the beers that we get over there in Europe's really good. I don't ever really find myself in America having a beer too much. I mean, if you see me having a beer when I'm home, or even a drink for that matter, then it's somebody's birthday or somebody's special occasion, really, because I just don't. I mean, everybody knows that, I grew up in California. I'm a pothead. I smoke weed, and that's what I do. I don't take any other drugs. I just like to smoke weed. It's just the way it is. I mean, and luckily I live in a state where it's completely legal to do so. So, you know, I'm very fortunate for me. No, not too much of a drinker anymore though. But I did like, especially the last tour, the Bass Strikes Back tour. I did get out a few nights, and they were like, "Come on, Zet," and I had a couple of them.
I heard
I
that.
like vodka and soda with a lime, or vodka and grapefruit juice. They used to call it a Greyhound back in the '80s.
Yeah, that
So I
sounds
like that,
good.
and I like Kettle One vodka, or the better stuff, Belvedere, Grey Goose. I do like that, and I had some fun with it, but not to where it was going to hinder my performance on any way, like back in the old days when it was like, you know,
Full on.
full on. Well, so we won't even get into what we
The
did.
sun's coming up.
The sun's coming up. That means there's time for more. Come on, so
All right. Claire Wilson asked a good one. Uh, have you considered writing an autobiography?
hi Claire, how are you and the family? Good to hear from you. Um, and many people have come at me and asked me to do that. Actually, my son is getting married, so my future daughter-in-law had bugged me the past few years that she wanted me to. She would write it down, and I said, "Well, I'm still writing the book, meaning I'm still living it, Claire. So I don't want to go out and do two books. We'll just make it one real thick one." So I'm sure we'll have a part in there through the heavy metal parents and the heavy metal moms out there. So thanks for always staying close, Claire.
All right. We're going to go to the horror section here. And Zombie Burnings wants to know, have you ever seen Slaughter High?
Oh, I watched it again last week. It's the greatest. You can get any of that stuff on Shutter and any of that stuff on Amazon Prime. I actually watched the first two Phantasms last week again just to watch. They had said they had remastered it, which is fine, but it's so creepy. And the Angus Scrimm, the tall man, is just so creepy. But yes, I love that movie. It's a horror. It's great. Slaughter High. Yes, great movie.
All right. Another good question. Metal Madness 66. What did you do for a living during the time that weren't in Exodus in between?
I was a union carpenter. I actually even during the Temple of the Damned years, I was actually coming off tour, and the very next day going I was a foreman for a I was a union carpenter for a union door company. I installed commercial doors.
Like
You
for
know,
schools and big
yeah,
heavy duty.
hardwares, panic bars, closers, big dolls in schools. I mean, we'd go into a building and put 6,000 doors in a building and all the hardware and stuff. So I did that sort of thing. But even while we, and that partly had why I couldn't do it anymore after Temple of the Damned. It was hard to juggle a young family, a full time band, and a full time job that wanted me there all the time. So it was kind of tough, but it definitely took care of me. While it took care of my kids in
It's
medical,
hard
and
work too,
while
huh?
I was married, it was hard work. That's why. Yeah, I really appreciate, and I never did even before, but I never have taken the business for granted. I never taken you guys, the fans, for granted because I'm very accessible, and you can always get me for an autograph or a picture, and I do stuff like this where I'm online and I answer your. You can tell anything coming off of me is straight up genuine and honest, and that's how I like to tell her because I got nothing to hide. And anything I did was an experience. And do I regret it? No fucking regrets whatsoever.
All right. And Slasher Pepper wants to know, have you heard any of the new Machine Head songs that were just released, like without an album? They've been digital only.
And I saw that episode, bro. It was great. This guy has a podcast, Slasher Pepper, and I did his webcast actually. And it's just about horror. I haven't heard the new stuff. I didn't know they had released anything that they had. Did they do that,
Yeah,
Walter?
they did.
How long ago?
Just recently, like they released a
In a
song
week?
a couple weeks ago. Or
Okay,
something
no, I
like
haven't
that.
heard that, so
Well,
I'll
now
have
you
to
know.
check that out. I don't. We'll definitely check that out.
All right. Zoo Station loves the gray hair look. Is that
A lot of people say that. I think it's just the light, but other than that, on this one, I'm probably not. I don't dye my hair. I remember when I first got back into Access, I had purple hair, and that's because I played in Hatriot, and it was a different mentality or a different uh, approach with that. But I mean, I'm 56 years old. It's kind of brown, not really going anywhere. It's all still here. I'm not balding in the back. It's all still full. You can yank a hair, and so I'm just figured, hey, you gotta do what your age is. And I'm not trying to look younger. I'm trying to look good, but not any younger.
I think you always been real, so you're just keeping it real.
Yeah, just keep it real, huh, Walt?
I guess, yeah,
Keeping
that's
it
it.
real.
Disaster Piece wants to know if you have any memories of Phil and Selma when you were with them on tour, maybe.
Oh God, how many memories do you want to talk about? I mean, okay.
That was a young you.
Okay, the young you. Okay, I'll just give you one memory. It would be funny. We would be backstage, and he's probably gonna when he kills me. He's like, "Oh man, you told this story, man." He's gonna say, "Phil is very well endowed, and he is not afraid to let you know that he is well endowed." And you would be like, "Oh my God, it's a monster!" He'd go like this. You should see my dad, and he would take a beer bottle, and he would like curl it under his quite big, large, and set it on there. And he'd walk over to like a girl backstage and go, "Hey, can I get you a beer?" And have it, and it could sit right there. He wouldn't even have to hold the top of the beer. It would literally sit there. And he'd walk over, and you'd die because the chick's not even noticing. You know what he's doing, you know. So that's one of millions that I can go into, but there'll be more times for those.
All right, and also another question was, what are your favorite countries to visit on tour?
All of the countries are great to visit on tour. There's nowhere that I dislike. All of the Exodus fans all over the world are the best. Are they more crazy in certain parts? They definitely are. South America, especially, and that doesn't say anything against Japan or Europe or the United States because I'll give this to Europe. We first toured the Bay Strikes Back tour in Europe to see how it would go because we knew Europe is definitely metal ground, and anywhere is great, especially now that we've been around so long. I think that we're more thankful to be around, and I think that we're more thankful that the fans are still here to see us play, and we're still here and able physically to play the music good, you know. So I have to say that the world is great. The live shows now are great everywhere. Europe was just off the damn chain from England to Norway, man. They kicked ass from top to bottom. We didn't have any shows, and you've heard me say this many times, I call them clunkers, where you walk in and go, ooh, ooh. And I guess nobody got the notice that Exodus was in town tonight, because that happens, people. That does. If you think it's balls out walls everywhere, if for the most part it is, but you know, and it happens to every band too. Don't think that it doesn't. And so,
And you still put in the same effort.
of course,
yeah,
I don't
for
care
you.
if there's
Yeah.
10 or 10,000 or 100,000. I'm gonna rock you. You know, that's what I'm there for. But it's just everywhere is really great. And you know, it's fun to play at home. It's fun to play in New York. It's fun to play in Canada. There's such great fans. Mexico loves Exodus. Brazil, Argentina, you know, Uruguay, Paraguay, Peru, Chile. They all love Exodus. All the places that we just went into Europe, Russia, Turkey. Actually, Phil Demmel and I and Chris Adler and James Lomenzo did this cover thing called Hail, and we went over to Dubai and Bahrain and played some shows there as this cover band called Hail, and we did like 22 songs like Metallica and Megadeth and Iron Maiden and Kiss, and the fans were going crazy. So for all my fans that are out in the Saudi Arabia areas, Bahrain and Dubai, it was great.
I've been to Dubai.
It was great to go out there and see you guys. You guys are, again, those fans are very hungry and very loving and very knowledgeable metal fans. So I don't know. I can't say any of the metal fans in the world suck, because you don't. Because metal fans don't suck, Walt. You know that.
I know that.
We love our
Universal.
music. You know what I mean? It's not like anybody came up to you and said, "Here, listen to this. This is fucking cool today." You know, you love metal because it drives through your veins. You know, when I get up in the morning and I go exercise or I go for a long ass walk, what do you think I'm playing in my earphones? You know what I mean? This morning I had Dead Kennedy's Plastic Surgery Disasters on. I needed some punk music to get me going, but it's always something that's aggressive and heavy, and it's hard, and it's what I do. It's metal, right?
Also, I think since you got older, and you talked about this before, that actually you enjoy, since you were younger and now the older Zetro, you enjoy the culture and the food and getting out and actually talking to the people and seeing what each country has to offer, that's different, right? It's different everywhere you go.
You know, the thing was is we were so, you know, stuck on, partying so much that, you're getting to the next town, and now it's like there's so much going on, and so much you want to see. Of course, there's a lot of times where you don't have time to do that, but there's also times where you do. We had a day off in Barcelona that was killer. You know what I mean? So
I know you go out. The food always looks killer.
it's great.
Lobster
So,
here,
you know what I
this
mean?
and
All
that.
the time. We had all great band dinners talk about spreading the coronavirus. We did nothing but have complete band dinners, and everybody was hanging out and clinching glasses and that sort of thing. So, I do enjoy it more now, and I'm glad that I have a clear head doing it now, and I'm glad that I can go out and play so much better, because I'm singing, and my performances are better now than they ever were in the 80s or 90s or whenever, ever.
And do you warm up your voice before
Never.
you go? Never.
I'm the only
some
one that
singers
doesn't.
do.
I know many do. Almost all of them do. I know Mark Kosageta does. I know Chuck Billy has a whole
Yes.
full regiment.
Yeah.
So many people do, and I just don't. It's not.
Ronnie
something-
James Dio always said he didn't.
I think they lost us. The little girl in. You asked it, Walter. You asked that question again, Walt.
Yeah. Disaster Piece asks, who is the girl in the music video "A Good Day to Die"?
The little girl.
The girl in the music video. That's all he says, if you can remember.
I believe it was a little girl, right? In Good Day to Die. Well, actually, he was a boy, the blonde kid, because there was a little girl and a little boy
I mean,
in that.
was a
Remember
long
the
time
news?
ago.
That was a long time ago. I probably an actress, probably.
all right.
We hired actresses back then.
And you spent like a couple days.
Yeah, we were
videos.
stupid. We wasted dumb money. I don't even want to go into that. I could open the
I don't
fucking.
think you liked videos back then. You used to
I
tell me
hated them. I
because
hate them today. They go
'cause they-
faster today, though,
They
Bo.
take like 2-3 days.
Oh
sometimes.
God, I'd dread them. I wouldn't sleep nights before. People go, "Wow, the great rock and roll experience. You're in a band and you're doing a video." I swear to God, I fucking dreaded them. I didn't like to do videos. It wasn't something that that was fun for me. You know what I mean? Say it was the end result. I loved watching, doing it. And doing the take, like everybody, like Toxic Waltz, you were there.
Yep.
How many times do you think we played the song? Walt, 200? 250?
All day long.
2 days?
For 2 days. Yeah.
And
Saturday
so after
Sunday.
that week, when everybody was loving Toxic Waltz and going, "Oh, it's my favorite song ever," I couldn't fucking stand that song, and it wasn't even released yet.
All right, Damian Healy. This is a good question. With Gary playing in Slayer in the last few years, and Lee currently with Heathen, why do you feel the need to leave Hatred when you return to Exodus? Why not do double duty?
At the time, it wasn't feasible. At the time, Blood In, Blood Out came out, and even though Gary wasn't there, and that Lee is now going to do Heathen, we were still working. We were still working continuously, and so I couldn't dip in and dip out. And I think that, and again, my sons made that decision, not me. I gave it my blessing once I heard my son sing. But I remember them coming to my house, and I think I still have the paper of them firing me. And I said, "And who's your singer?" And they pointed over to my oldest, Cody. And if you've heard from Days Unto Darkness, you can see that he's got it. He's fine. And then I had him go in the studio and sing 2 songs off of the first record, Heroes of Origin, and the second record, and they went and he did a song off of each, and Dawn of the New Centurion, and he killed it. He fucking totally killed it, and I was like, wow, that's really good. You have my blessing, because they wanted to book shows, and it's like I'm booking tours with Exodus, and it's like, well, I can't play for 3 months because I got to go do this, so it wasn't fair to them.
Actually, his first time that he sang, I went to the show here. It was local, And it was the first time he ever sang. He was all nervous.
And he was blowing his voice out first, and now he's gotten out where he relaxes and he doesn't, and he knows what he's doing. And I think, and I'm seeing some of your comments come up. He's got a fantastic voice. He does sound a lot like me, but he's like, he still has that
Lower end.
lower end, yeah. And yes, Claire, Nick kills it on the drums. He does, and it's like I mean it's like they've been around quality their whole life. Think about it, you know what I mean? And they're not. They knew what they had to do to be at that level, and I would tell them. I mean, I would be when they were learning their instruments. You know, Cody was a great study, and Nick had the hardest job because it's heavy metal drums. And I said, you want your kicks to be fast, you better listen to your boy. And his boy was Joey Jordison. And if you go listen to a Slipknot record with Joey on it, his kicks are quite quick. That was his era. Those were his bands. You know what I mean?
Fraser Dawson, or along with over CK Gaming. What are some of your best memories from when you were in Legacy?
So,
Partying outside in the parking lot, things that you
all of
probably
those
don't
things.
do anymore, huh?
No, not those things anymore.
All right, and
I know my internet is not that well right now. Down here in the vault, it's hard to get internet, and so it is kind of flaking. So I apologize for that. That's why, for the most part, I don't go live because I like my show to look really good and really nice for all of you guys, so you can see it and hear it really, really well. But I found that this has been fun the last few times to do with you guys, and so I wanted to do that and let you know that. Like this week, and because I'm using 3 cameras, there's a lot more production that goes to edit them. He's at home going, yeah, it's me. I'm busy right now. Because yesterday I actually filmed Will Carroll, which will be up next week, Walt. And Will Carroll tells us all about his life, things that went on, things that happened to him that he thought when he was under the induced coma. So next Tuesday, I think they'll look out for that. And we're going to be running that. So next Tuesday, but I am busy filming those, and when I do, film stuff like that, I at least like to fill in the week here because we haven't had an episode this week, and at least come and take your calls or take your comments and see, because I see them, and I appreciate all you guys that have definitely signed up and subscribed to my channel because it's been a lot of fun over the last. We've been doing this for over a year now, right? Well.
We're in the second season.
We're second season, and I like, on this, there's no intro, there's no outro, there's nothing like that. It's just me saying goodbye, and I close the book, and that's it. But I do like all that kind of production, and I like, all the eye candy that's on my set that I do have people kick me down, especially Will Hebner from Toy Slayer. He's the one that gives me most of the toys here. But I do have, I'm a toy guy, and everybody knows that, so definitely collecting toys. So what else we got, Walt?
Guitar Ghost. Which Exodus album do you most identify with, or what's the one you like the most?
Well, it's funny because the most recent one I love every song of, and it's not like there was Exodus records in the past where I didn't like every song on. There was only one where there were songs on it I didn't like, and I have yet to do that one. That one's actually coming up next. For you people that have been watching The Vault over the year, you know that I've reviewed my look on how we recorded each record, and we are at Force of Habit right now, are we not?
I'll just give you a little. Gary quoted that. He said that actually that album for him was some of the best guitar work for him and Rick, even though it didn't get as big a claim as some
Definitely.
Of the other ones.
To me, it's not the sheer violent, brutal Exodus kick in your face and rape you in my eyes. But I know many people that love that record. Again, I'm not going to get into Impact right now. I would probably say the new one, and then to go backwards, go into Tempo, even that, because we were very pissed off at that time. And if you listen to that record, you can tell
There was
we
a
were
layoff,
off.
and you can't. That's one of my favorites because
And so that was the one coming back from land. And I think that we came hitting the ball out of the park. Then why wouldn't you say, Walt? That one's definitely, very well.
Love it. So Elliot Wiss asked at the Manchester show this year, Exodus and Death Angel didn't have
To take 2 more, so we had to use smaller backdrops on that. That's all. That's why.
Okay, is this
Yep,
okay? You're
we're
good.
back. I
Okay.
know they keep losing. We keep losing. Yeah, I'm sorry. My fucking internet's
Oh,
all messed up.
Zoo Station has a good one. What are your thoughts on the recent news that Live Nation released regarding bans, guarantees, and touring due to the virus?
Boy, why don't you just stick a fucking gun to our head and shoot it and kill us all? I mean, that is like the worst thing they could fucking do. It's the worst thing. I mean,
They want more money,
the one
basically.
percent of the acts that 1%, mind you, and I think it's even less than that, are the Taylor Swifts and
Metallica.
the Metallica and the Jay-Z's and Beyonce's. The rest of us are all working stiffs, and that'll be killed. That'll kill us. So I think they're violating antitrust laws there. They're not supposed to monopolize on something that they've completely, obviously monopolized on. I mean, didn't they buy all Clear Channel up and everything? I mean, I don't think that's even legal.
Why don't they take the hit? They're a multi-million
I don't
dollar
get it.
company.
Why, exactly. They're not. No, they'll pass it on us. And you know what's going to happen eventually? And I really hate to say this, but eventually it gets passed on to you guys because you're going to want to see your bands, and look how ticket prices have raised over the years. They've gotten so crazy. I mean, I have a poster in my bedroom that I'm very proud of. It's when Exodus played. We toured with Black Sabbath for the Dehumanizer tour in '92, and it was the only date on the tour where there was a poster made with a picture of each one of us, and I put it on my wall. It cost $14.25 to get into that show. That's because we could sell records back then. T-shirts were $15 or $20, not 35 and 40, 80 for a hoodie. You know what I mean? Bands had to learn how to make money, and that's the only reason. So it got passed on to you, the consumer. So boycott Clear Channel. Just boycott Clear Channel. That's what you can do.
All right. This is from a Dutch fan, and it's a good one. Jordy Beers Van. How was your experience at the Dynamo Festival in '88? We were just talking about that.
Best one ever. Best show ever I've ever played ever. It was the big time I've ever seen a crowd that big. I headlined it, and I'd never
It
seen
was 80,000. I was there.
I'd never seen so many people there for us and knew this. And for so to me, that's I played bigger ones since then, many, but that one to me, because it was the first, was the most memorable. Yes, definitely fun.
What's funny about that was Mike Coons running around
Oh,
naked
naked.
with Tony
Tony
Isabella.
Isabella. Wasn't she grabbing his ass? I think I don't know. That was
It put her
fun.
in shock. But,
Mike Coons from Laws Rocket. Coonsy, we love you.
all right, and John Rogers, is Costa going to do a guest solo on the new Exodus?
Doubt it. I doubt it very much. It sounds like a good idea, but I'm gonna let this. I'm gonna let Gary Holt go. You know what I mean? It's probably I couldn't tell you. And again, I'm not in on that sort of thing. I would say Costa probably not. I don't know who else. Maybe I
I've
don't
heard
know.
Rick and Holt. That's what Gary says.
I don't know. Gary, is that what Gary said? Rick?
Yeah, Rick's gonna
Okay,
play
well then there you go.
No.
Go ahead, Walt. Say it, you know. Walter again, knowing better and better, more.
I think that the Exodus fans out there go to the Exodus board a lot too, and that's what he claimed on his Instagram Live. But another one we have. What is?
You look like Brian Posehn, kinda.
Well, this is Rip
Doesn't
Van
he look
Winkle,
like Brian Posehn? Everybody,
But
look back in there. Look back in there. He looks like Brian Posehn.
but
Our good
Zetro's
friend,
grandpa, because
our
he is a
good
grandpa
friend
now.
Brian Posehn. I love that man.
Okay, and this is Gear Holt from Norway. Do you feel Gary Holt is still underrated as a guitar player and especially as a writer?
I think that he's gonna get his just due real this next record. But yes, I think because of the stint that he's done and the way they finished it up, there's definitely gonna be more attention put on Gary and more attention put on his writing ability and playing and recording. So it leads that whole thing. But I think because he's been the real deal forever, and believe me, I've been playing with him since 1986. He's the fucking real deal all the way around. He can play lead, rhythm, write lyrics, everything. He's the full package when it comes to thrash. That's in my eyes, and I'm very fortunate to be able to play and have been able to play alongside somebody that's especially revered by all of you fans, because I read what you say about him, and it's all the truth. He's the fucking man. He's the real deal.
He is. Dan S wants to know what bands you like to tour with, and which ones would you like to tour with if you got the chance.
All of our bands that we tour with are all our friends. Usually we go out with like Hatebreed and Suicidal Guys are our friends, and Creator we tour with a lot, and of course Death Angel we tour with, Testament, we play on festivals with, all of those bands that are in our genre, from everybody from Megadeth to Anthrax. I mean, we're very, very fortunate. I don't know. I've gotten
How
to
about
play.
Power Trip? I'd love to see you.
We've played with them
Oh.
before. It was Power Trip, Obituary, Exodus, a
Mhm.
couple of years ago. Yeah, no, I love Power Trip. Great. What talk about a way to keep the flag flying, huh?
Yeah,
Definitely.
really.
You want to talk about anybody's what's your next new bands? Really? Well, if you haven't heard them, if Havoc or Hatred aren't coming your way, it's not working for you, you'd be out of your mind if you didn't like those bands and Hatchet bands like that. But
Municipal Waste.
Municipal Waste, exactly. But Power Trip, yeah, definitely right up there. Killer band, I love them.
Oversea King Gaming again wants to know your thoughts on Titans of Creation and New Testament.
I wrote False Prophets. Great. It's Testament. It's great Testament. It's awesome leads. It's awesome rhythms. It's very aggressive. The musicianship is stellar because of every player. I think the lyrical writing is great, and it's not just myself. It's also Chuck and Del James and Alex. So, it's a group effort there. Of course, it's great. They don't put out shitty music. Exodus doesn't either. Death Angel doesn't either. Violence doesn't either. The Bay Area bands don't put out albums that are subpar. Well, you know that.
I know
It's
it.
all real deal shit here.
Still doing it 35 years later.
I know.
Guitar Ghost. What is the band that you liked most when you were little?
Led Zeppelin is one of my first thing I heard. My dad was a biker, and I've told the story many times. And he grew up, and I grew up, going into the garage when he was working on his Harleys. And I remember hearing Stairway to Heaven. I think I was 8. And for my 8th birthday, he bought me it was a pink 8-track. And it was the old man with the sticks on his back. And from then on, but then anything heavy, anything hard. We're talking 1970.
You keep graduating, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got heavy AC/DC, Ted Nugent, UFO, Judas Priest.
A natural progression.
It's just
heaviness.
definitely.
All right, that's good. This is a good one. Zoo Station wanted to know your thoughts on Michael Butler during the Force of Habit era.
Butler's great. I have Butler. I have an AC/DC tribute band, and I have Will Carroll and Butler in my tribute band. Butler was great. Butler Butler is a true bass player. Butler plays that bass like the bass should be played. He's a great backup singer. He's a great performer. His own band, The Butlers, which is an actual a cover band, 70s hard. I believe we are. Again, wouldn't you know that, Walt? Walt, you tell me. Are we going to use Andy Steve again? Did he say?
I believe you are because everybody.
I think
does.
so. I was told that because he's got to break in some things that he was doing, that's what's going to happen. But that's what I've heard through the grapevine. But again, Walt seems to be more of a expert on Exodus at what we're doing right now. I'm just going to call you from now on.
Okay.
You can tell me
I'll
what's
let you
going
know.
on. Thanks. I appreciate that.
All right, Disaster Piece. This is a good one. Hey, Zetro, what's your favorite breed of dog?
A pug.
I
Come
knew
on.
that.
I got 3 of them. That are sitting at the door of the other side of the vault right now. Believe me, going for the minute I walk in. I got lover pugs too, don't I?
Didn't you rescue one and you out of the kindness of your heart, right?
Yeah, somebody left one. My little boy Dexter. Somebody left him on the streets of Oakland to die, and these little old ladies found him. And one of these little old ladies knew another little old lady, who happened to be my son's girlfriend's grandmother. I mean, we're talking 6 degrees of separation here. And they knew that I had a couple of pugs already, and they called me, and then I saw him, and his eye was all messed up, and he was scared, and I could tell that, he was probably on some makeshift puppy mill. When these assholes, couldn't take him to the SPCA. They just let him go because they ask questions when why you turning this dog in. So we know because he wasn't neutered. His nails was just curled over. His eye was all messed up. So he's such a lover too. He's my funniest little dog. He does so much funny things. I love him to death, and we've taken care of him. And yeah, he's been quite expensive over the past 3 years, but I wouldn't have wasted my money. Not at all. I love that little guy. He's sitting on the other side of the vault right now, waiting for Daddy to finish. He'll be the first one to greet me. Believe me.
What are your thoughts on Invicta? Invicta, is that a band?
I don't know. I don't know. I would have no thoughts on Invicta. If it's around, I have not heard it.
Okay, and then Calm before the swarm wants to know some hints about some future guests that you might have on the vault.
I'll tell you what. If the pandemic didn't have, I would have had the greatest guest ever in the vault, and I can't give it away because he's agreed to come in and do it. But you guys are going to be blown when I bring him in, and I can't tell you who it is, and it's going to be so like I would have never expected you to do this, and actually it's really cool, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, I have Will Carroll coming in next week, and we do have other people we're talking to. I'm going to have some local bands come in. I'm going to do another local band thing. I promised Rick Hunold before the end of the summer, so I'm going to hold him to that. So he said he would do it. I was on a telephone call with him before I went live last time, and he said that Rick lives about 3 hours north of where I do the vault at in Dublin, and so he would have to come down here basically for all of the filming we would need to do. Rick would have to come down here and spend a full day, actually take a hotel because he could never get back in time and hang out, and that would be fun. But it's going to happen. It's definitely going. And I would love to get Mr. Holt in here, and we talked about it during the Bass Strikes Back, but then the pandemic happened, and then now he's feverishly writing. Is that right, Walt? He's writing, right?
Yes, he is.
So that's what we know. So we're going to just let him write, right, EXO fans? That's what we want. We're just going to leave him alone for right now.
All right, Disaster Piece. Favorite Exodus song of all time?
Probably Deliver Us to Evil. But I mean, so many, and there's so many that I didn't sing on. There's stuff now that I'm singing at Duke's eras that I just really dig. I mean, it's like, I love singing them. I think they're really good songs.
There's some really good songs, really.
And fun to sing, too, so.
I'd like to see you do Downfall. I love that song.
That is a good song.
All right,
I did Funeral Hymn a couple of years ago in Europe on a summer tour. We never done it again, but we opened with it. It was great.
The Warpo Show, JC wants to know, he wants another tour of your pot plant room. Your plants. I know your babies. They're your babies, right?
They're huge right now. They're getting big. I'll do a remote thing, and I'll put it on my Instagram. So you keep going, JC, and keep the Warpo Show warping.
Are you a death metal fan? Like Autopsy, Death, Morbid Angel. Do you listen to any of that?
The original stuff, yes. I'm not. It's not, and I have to be honest with you. There are many, many, many factions of metal. I'm not the biggest fan of every single faction of them, but I love every bit of metal because to me, it's driving the force. I mean, thrash metal, glam metal, pop metal, metalcore, whatever it is what type, death metal, black metal. There's pieces of every bit of it that I love, pieces of every bit, and I always will. And if it's metal, I don't care if it's fucking hair metal. It's got the metal on it, and it's pulling the charge. And at this point in time, metal needs to stay strong. You stay strong by how? Stay in unity. Unity is strength in numbers and banding together. So, as long as it's metal.
All right, some old schoolers here, Mike and Sherry Price. They went by Ruthie's Inn the other day. It's a church now.
Yeah, it's gone through a lot of changes. It would be great to go in there, but producer Wayne keeps wanting to bring the vault on the road, and we were going to set up a table right in front of Ruthie's Inn and do a show from there and have guests and come in, but we haven't done that yet. But we're thinking about doing that. You can get away with it in Berkeley, right?
Yeah, of course. Matt Kemp, any consideration or plan for doing a whole album tours, like playing all of Fabulous Disaster on these?
That would be great. Again, right now we're concentrating on writing new Exodus material, but not something that we would have posed to in the past. This summer we were supposed to do one festival in Europe in the Dynamo, which is canceled now, but we were playing Bonded by Blood from top to bottom, and we have done that a few times before, but no other records.
All right, Gear Holt. Has Holt written any political stuff?
I haven't seen anything lyrically, so I don't know. I mean, up to date, no. As far as I know, I haven't seen anything lyrically, so I don't know what things are. He told me the title of the album, and again, I can't tell you that either. So, but I don't know what we're going into. I'm sure when it gets closer to the time of September, probably in August, I'll hear from him, and we'll be talking about that.
JC wants to know, what are your thoughts on musicians that blast political thoughts? I've noticed Exodus doesn't blast opinions about politics
Or religion. I think that everybody needs that it works for you. That's great. I don't like to preach. I'm a singer in a heavy metal band. What the hell makes me know more about politics than any of you guys or anybody else that reads the paper or watches the news? Why? Because we're on a pedestal and you get looked up to, and so this is what I think. I hate that mentality. I hate that asshole mentality, so I don't chime in on politics either way. All I'll say, and I've said this from again, I'm proud to be an American citizen.
All right, favorite Metallica album?
Ride the Lightning. Ride the Lightning for sure. I love the first one definitely, but Ride the Lightning for me. The opening with Fight Fire with Fire, which is my favorite Metallica song, and just the album from top to bottom. Not saying that I didn't love Master, that I didn't even let not, or those albums, any of those records. I love them all, but to me, Ride the Lightning.
All right, and favorite guitarist?
Favorite guitarist?
Gary Holt.
Yeah, definitely Gary Holt. When I was growing up, it was Jimmy Page. I loved him. I just loved Led Zeppelin. But I mean, I could go on. I love Blackmore. I love Schenker. You know what I mean? I love Uli Roth. I love so many. Let's do one more, Walt.
Yeah, it's 12:43, and we've been on for 43 minutes, so we're wrapping it up. And any other questions?
Well, we're gonna wrap it. No, that's cool. Good. Thanks for everybody coming in. It was fun checking in with you guys. Good talking some live stuff. So we'll do this from time to time and try to answer your questions the best we can, and let you guys know. Of course, if we get in the studio, I'm gonna have the vault. I'm out my little camera that I've had in there. So that's what it looks like. So for me and Mr. Walter Morgan.
Right on.
Thanks for watching Zetro's Toxic Vault. And remember, drink Death Wish coffee, right?
That's right.
Drink Death Wish coffee.